Science degree. Sachini's tenure at Dialog Axiata has been marked by significant contributions to AI-driven solutions and the fostering of a culture of innovation and transformative business strategies. We are honored to have Sachini Herath here with us today to share her knowledge and insights on application of AI and ML for business growth in telecommunications industry. So please welcome Sachini Herath. Sachini, the virtual floor is yours.
So thank you very much, Devini, for this kind introduction. And thank you very much for inviting me for this Women in Data Science Sri Lanka chapters upskilling workshops. So I'm very thrilled to share my knowledge and experience with all this audience. So without further delay, let me share my presentation with you all. Right. So I hope my screen is visible to everybody. If there's any
yes,
issues, yeah, thanks. So if there's any issue, please escalate because I'm currently out of Colombo and conducting this session in a remote area. So some interruptions might happen in terms of the connectivity. So apologies in advance if there's any issues. So to start with, my topic today is on application of AI and ML for business growth in telecommunication industry. So as Devini mentioned, so we are really excelling our AI and ML competencies to grow our business in telecommunication industries. So today the outline is, I will first share you some areas that we can apply AI in this industry. And then I will take few of the key areas and share some sample use cases that we and also in the global setup people in the global setup who are using these applications. And finally, I wish to take you through to this blockbuster topic, like the generative AI stuff. So I wish to share my knowledge with you all in terms of generative AI, how Dialog and also the companies in the global setup can use this generative AI to excel their business in this industry. So to start with, I would like to give you a brief introduction on the telecommunication industry. When we say the telecommunication industry, the very first thing that comes to your mind is the mobile phone. So the mobile phone is connected to the through the mobile network. So we call it mobile telecommunication technologies. So if we walk through a little bit of history of this telecommunication industry, this was specifically in the Sri Lankan context. So it was first started with the analog technology, and it was started by I don't know whether you guys were there by that time. So it was started by a company called Celtel. So they first introduced this analog telecommunication to the Sri Lankan market, and then gradually Dialog Telecom. Back then it was Dialog Telecom. The Dialog Telecom joined Celtel with another technology called GSM, which is the digital version of uh, telecommunication transformation. So with this digital introduction, which was a revolutionary introduction, so a lot of key players came to Sri Lanka and set up their own telecommunication brands. So few brands which were back then was, I don't know whether you have heard Etisalat, Tigo, and then Hutch, Airtel. So all these global brands along with Dialog were operating in this industry. Then this industry kept growing. So since then the industry kept growing, whereas now I think there are 4 players in the market uh, fighting for 22 million population, right? So as this industry grows, uh, maybe in 2010 and 2011, 2010 and 2011, this market was quite stagnated. The mobile market was stagnated because, as I mentioned, there are 22 million people, but the number of SIMs surpassed the population of the country. So the industry stagnated. So as a result, the business growth became very less. So the sales were flat sales, revenues were flat, but the cost was increasing. So many challenges were there in the industry. So to mitigate this stagnated behavior and these risks, the various companies which were operating in the country by that time took different initiatives. So some went for mergers, some went for uh, acquisitions, and some went for diversification. So if we take the Dialog environment, the Dialog adhered to this diversification strategy. So the business started uh, growing in other industries as well. So, there are fixed broadband industry, the telecommunication, and also the television industry, the fintech industry, mobile money market. So many areas that Dialog has invested to diversify the business because the market was stagnating. So, not only Dialog, but if you take the global setup, even the telecommunication industry like British Telecom, SK Telecom, Bharati Airtel. So all these telecommunication giants started this diversification across the other industries as well. So as an industry, this telecommunication industry is now diversified into various areas where we call, it's a multiplayer industry. So the summary that I wanted to highlight to you is when we say the telecommunication industry, now the industry is a broad industry across a lot of other industries as well. It's not just focusing on the mobile. Uh, then if we talk about the industry challenges, despite taking these initiatives back in 2010 and 11, now even recent decade, let's say pre-COVID versus post-COVID periods. So even during these periods, this telecommunication industry facing numerous amounts of challenges. So if I pick a couple of key challenges, the very first one is the increasing cost. When the COVID pandemic hit the country and also the entire world, the global economy started collapsing, right? So not only in Sri Lanka, but also in several other markets in the other countries that started they were impacted with this global crisis. So as a result, the telecommunication equipment cost and also the software license costs. So these costs keep increasing. Even now with the dollar fluctuations and all, the communication industry's cost is increasing. So it's a huge challenge for these industries to survive in the long term, they can optimize the cost. And the second one is again the stagnated market. Now, even though they have diversified in the several other areas, but still the market is keep growing, and there's a certain point that even the diversified industries are now being stagnated. Third one is the stiff competition. In Sri Lanka, we don't have this mobile number portability, but when you take the other global countries, there are feature called mobile number portability. In number portability, you can just change your number, or you can change your devices to any other operators' devices or the technologies, and also you can change their products. So with this introduction, the industry is starting again facing the stiff competition, because there are a lot of players fighting for limited number of people, and they became very innovative and very very creative with their offers and offerings, so that the competition was competition is stiff. And third one is the evolving technology. So as I mentioned, the telecommunication industry is highly depending on its uh, infrastructure. So that is the servers, licenses, softwares, physical equipments. So all of this has resulted to face the evolving technologies. So they kept upgrading, they kept adding features. So in order to sustain in this industry, it is very necessary to update with the technology, which again incurred costs. And the final one is demanding customer needs. So if we look at 10 years back, when the mobile connectivity was introduced, so what is the primary need of yours? So that's basically, to make a call to somebody, right, from one place to another place. Now, if we take today, what is your primary need? So your primary need probably can be on, accessing Facebook, watching videos on YouTube, watching videos on TikTok, right, posting on Instagram. So a lot of things. So demanding customer needs is another challenge that this industry face, because they when technology and all this evolve, people also upgrades, right? So especially the younger generations now in the country, they are very keen on these later technologies, and they are always updating what applications that they can use to to keep the social engagement, to enhance their education, to use into their personal workspaces, so a lot of things. So because of this, now it is really important to see what AI can do to help to this industry, because as I mentioned, there are various challenges, and also AI is also an evolving technology. So 10 years ago, we were into machine learning stuff. I think even prior to that, they were like working on the regressions and forecastings. Then it evolved to the predicting environment, and then now we are in a generative AI setup. And so there are certain areas that this telecommunication industry uh, can adopt the AI, the use of AI to enhance their business growth. So if I categorize few of the areas, as you can see here, one of the key areas is customer experience enhancement. Because as I mentioned, the competition is stiff, and it is necessary to maintain the customer experience in order to keep the customer stick to the company. Right, so customer experience enhancement is one of the top areas that each and every telecommunication uh, service provider is focusing on. So I will walk through all with global examples as well. And the second one is the network optimization, because again, as I mentioned in the earlier slide, the cost of these equipment and cost of the network is increasing. So we need to see how the telecommunication industry can optimize this cost by optimizing the network. So network optimization and the network management is key area that AI can help telecommunication industries. The other one I would say is the fraud detection and security. So a lot of cyber attacks, data theft, and personal information theft. So many cyber crimes are very common in these era. So the telecommunication industry is one of the key areas that they need to protect their, especially from the data side, they need to protect their network and the data, because customer personal information can be stolen, and their data can be stolen. So many areas. So anomaly detection and fraud detection come into play in such environment. So this is one key area that AI can help to detect these anomalies and faults promptly without making any harm to the businesses. And workforce enhancement, operational efficiency, and innovation and service. So again, these are internal areas where we can adapt AI to, optimize the operation of the business. So this is not only directly focusing for the telecom industries, but even in any industry, these areas are crucial. So does the telecommunication industry. Now let's start with customer experience management. So customer churn prediction is one key use case that every telecommunication industry is facing. Because as I mentioned, in order to grow the business and sustain in the business, customer stickiness is very important. You need to maintain customer loyalty. You need to make them happy so that they will be staying with the product or the service for a long period. And the second one is the AI-driven chatbot for customer service. So this is one of the key areas that global telecommunication industries are, the companies are focusing, because when you don't get your service properly and when you don't have a person to contact, it's very frustrating, right? So uh, while maintaining the cost structure of the company and providing the customers experience in a way that they can perceive is very challenging. So AI driven chatbots are very popular in this area now, and I will specifically discuss about this area when we discussing on the Gen AI stuff. And third one is the personalized recommendations. So personalized recommendation is, personalization is basically meaning uh, instead of offering the same product, we are varying the products where customers can use for their own behaviors. Right, so let's first walk through the customer churn prediction. I'm not expecting to cover all the areas in this canvas today, but I will select a couple of key areas and give you details on the applications. So first is the customer churn prediction. So, customer churn prediction is basically, predicting whether this customer will leave the network or not. So that is specifically for the mobile related technologies, but this can be again applied to fixed broadband, telecommunication, and or even for the digital e-money concept as well. So why this customer churn is a burning problem to many of the companies. So some stats suggested the global telecommunication industry faces an average customer churn rate of 15%. So out of your customer base, if 15% customers are churning, it is directly impacting to your revenue line or the bottom line. And so this highlights the ongoing challenges of the telecommunication industry to retain their subscribers without churning. The second is mobile carriers face an average churn rate of approximately 20%. So not only in the TV and or even the global environment, the global telecommunication industry, but if you really focus on the mobile carriers, the mobile telecommunication, the churn rate is approximately 20%. So that means 20% of your mobile subscribers are churning. So which is a very huge impact for your bottom line. So that emphasize the need of personalized and value-based services to maintain the customer loyalty. And thirdly, reducing churn by 1% can increase profits by up to 5%. So which means if you reduce your churn rate by 1%, you can increase your revenue by 5%. So you can save the opportunity of losing these customers by 5%. So because of these reasons, the customer churn has become a very prominent use case in this industry. So I'm sure you must have heard this, even if you go for Kaggle or any other data sets, and if you type or if you search telecommunication applications, that we can do for data science. Customer churn is one of the top prominent use cases, because people in the other companies in the world, they are always, or they actively researching on this customer churn because of these reasons. So they know what is the gravity of this problem in order to retain their subscribers. And standard products to personalized products. So this is again very important, because personalization is, I still feel the personalization is still new to Sri Lanka. Personalization is offering customers what they need instead of the products that we have. Right? If you take, for example, again 5 to 6 years ago, we have standard set of packages and services. Right? So, for example, say per month I'm using 10 GB, and when I need to reload, or when you need to activate a package, there is a package for 15 GB. Or the one below that product is 7 GB. So for 10 GB, I didn't have anything. Or I don't have anything. Right? Now with the personalization, if I'm using 10 GB, the product or the service is offering a 10 GB package. Right? So because of the personalization aspect. So customer needs 10 GB, so we need to offer 10 GB. So likewise, so why if we take again another examples, why personalization is not really adapted in the Sri Lankan market. So if you can see, I think even Dialog or any other operator in the country, they don't really offer you the personalization, but they are evolving, or we are changing the way of the standard products offerings to the personalizations. And if you take the banking industry, so if you have a credit card, you see all the offers and all the products that particular company is offering. But that might be not the things that you really need. Because of that, most of the people are not even looking at the offers, promotional or promotional offers, which any of the merchandises are offering. So personalization is really important, because when if you see even these stats, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, so there are 6 stats suggesting that personalization is important for sustain of any of the companies. So if you take the number 1, it says it lifts revenue by 10 to 15% on average. So McKinsey has published some stats on this. So they say that if your products and services are personalized, your revenue will be, the company revenue will be increased by 15 to 10% on average. Then 77% of companies that personalize business to business experiences report increased market share. So subscribers are attracting to companies if they are offering personalized product and services. And the third one, nearly 3/4 of consumers won't buy from you without personalization. So this is a big issue in many of the developed countries, right? So nearly 3/4 of the consumers will not come to you if you don't offer personalization or the personalized product and services. Then people want to hear from brands, but 58% says they get frustrated with messaging that's generic or inconsistent. So this is again in Sri Lanka's in our life in Sri Lanka mainly, right? So we need to hear from the brand. So cutting down the total communication with the brand is really not going to work for the consumers, because they miss a lot of opportunities. So they need to hear from the brands, but 58% of the people says they get frustrated with all these messages keep bombarding your mobile phone, and that's frustration. Because of that, you need to apply personalization. Only the relevant content, only the relevant uh, products and offers should be communicated to the customers, instead of offering a vast range of standard products. Fifth one, personalization can lower acquisition cost by as much as 50%. So at peak. So this is again when you're doing the marketing campaigns. to acquire your customers for product and services. If you are not personalized, you need to do a standard marketing campaigns for like TV advertising, Facebook advertising, radio advertising, newspapers. So these uh, advertising has a cost. So this cost can be decreased by 50% if your products and services are personalized. So does your marketing efforts are personalized. Number six, on average, personalization boosts companies' growth rate by 6%, 6 to 10%. So BCG has uh, published some stats on this. So they say that on average, if your products and services are personalized, companies can improve or companies can grow their business by 6 to 10%. Now, how we can do this personalization in the environment of telecommunication? So, in telecommunication, personalization was a concept like 5 to 6 years ago. Now, telecommunication companies have to invest more on the hyper personalization, which is one step beyond the personalization. So, with the personalization, what they offered was a offer or the product or the service which is personalized. But with hyper personalization, you're personalizing customers lot of touch points. For example, if you take one element, so these are the elements actually you can personalize these, personalize our product and services for a particular customer. One is the network. So in telecommunication industry, personalizing the network not only help customer to utilize their network as the speed is as their required speed, but also it helps the telecommunication companies to optimize the cost. So personalization network experience means there are such areas where you see the network utilization is low. So even though you have capacity in your mobile or the telecommunication site, there are people, limited number of people are logging to these sites, so you can personalize this. So you can reduce the speed. So because the bandwidth, you have a lot of long bandwidth, but there are less number of users, so you can reduce the bandwidth. So that cost has been decreased. And second one is the package. The tailor-made packages based on the individual preferences. So this is really, this is a very popular concept in retail marketing also, because if you can see websites like Amazon.com, you can see uh, based on your purchasing patterns, they are recommending what are the products and products that you can purchase. So similarly, in the telecommunication industry also, based on the packages that you activated in uh, you have activated previously, you can we can recommend you. So this is the package that best suit for you. So, then the third is the product. So product means, the telco industry is now it's a collective of industries. So you can cross sell products. Example, if you're having a mobile phone but you don't have fixed broadband telecommunication, then you can suggest, based on your behavior, you can recommend a product, or you can recommend a fixed broadband product to this particular customer, or even a telecommunication product. It's called cross-selling. Then the message. So when it comes to communication, you can personalize the message. So for example, instead of sending the same message to entire customer base, you can personalize and send. You can say, so dear customer, based on your preferences, this package is available for you at this rate. So please feel free to try this on. So likewise. So messages can be personalized. Then the channel. The channel concept is everybody might not be required or might not be happy if they were contacted with the same channel by a company. For example, we say Dialog. Dialog is always sending you messages, and that's it. But you may prefer if you see some Facebook banner or post or Instagram post, or even you might get a call, maybe we don't know, right? So there are certain channels that telecommunications companies can personalize to communicate with the customer. Then again, the artwork. So again, similarly as messages, the artworks can be personalized. So if you are a sports loving person, then you might, your I must catch something related to sports. Maybe not anything related to, movies or books or anything. So you can personalize the artwork where customers' interest can be uh, binded to this uh, your offering, right? And the context. So right message at the right time. So this is something, again, we are not, since we are not personalized, we are not getting the right message at the right time. Instead, you are getting right message at the wrong time, right? So that's one of the, this one of the biggest problems I have seen in the Sri Lankan market, because, uh, you know, the context is not taken into account when they are communicating with customers. Then the email messages. So emailing can be, again, some area that you can personalize. You can personalize the content. You can share some informative knowledge with the customers. Websites and apps. So dynamic web and app experience. So instead of asking customer to download the app and see the same thing over and over again, then customers interest is not going to retain with you or the company. In that case, you might have to look for other opportunities to personalize the customer's experience via the web and app. Then the advertisements, again, personalized BTL and mass ATLs. So advertising, I have gone through this previously also. Advertising, you can personalize. Pricing. So this is one of the key areas where a lot of people are focusing on this. So instead of offering your product and service at the same rate to the customer, why can't you personalize based on the customer's preference? That's another way. Then the recommendations. Offers and product recommendations which customer feels relevant to them. So entirely what we are discussing is about the recommendation. Why can't we personalize the recommendations? Then the customer service. So there can be customers who like to be treated, say physically, where some people prefer to be contacted digitally or treated digitally. So instead of contacting the customer, or instead of providing the customer service as a standard service, why can't we personalize, right? Then this other thing is the loyalty program. So loyalty program is another key area, especially when it comes to churn. Loyalty program is where sticking your customer with you. So there should be a personalized program that keep the customer with you with the loyalty benefits. For example, the two prominent airlines, Qatar Airways and Emirates. So they have this loyalty program which was designed, very theoretically. So they have this. I can't remember the name of the Emirates one. So Qatar one, they have one world. Right? So you can gather flying miles. So when you're traveling from one destination to other destination, you are getting a discount for your next ticket. That's the loyalty. So when you get a discount to your next ticket, again you are going to use their service with the uh, discounted ticket. When you use the discounted ticket, again you are getting another discount. You are getting another discount with the miles. So this type of loyalty is what we expect from the companies, right? So even in a airliner, we are very thrilled to use these discounted tickets because we feel that we have been taken care of. The other one is the partners. So personalization, rewards, and payments for partners. Like even if it's let's consider a retailer which is selling telecommunication products. So you can, when sales are high, you can reward more instead of the standard payment, so that they get encouraged to sell more of these products. So these are the key elements that we can uh, touch upon in telecommunication industry in terms of hyper personalization. The network optimization. So this is a very famous area where, again, internet, all over the internet, you can see the network use cases. So we can use the AI for predictive maintenance to anticipate equipment failures, right? And we can schedule the maintenances. Automated network configuration and optimization to manage traffic loads. So this is again related to cost. So you need to optimize in a way where customer experience is not impacted, but cost is optimized. Real-time analytics to monitor network performance and quickly respond to anomalies. So you need real-time monitoring systems to detect anomalies. So anomalies you can detect or even predict, right? So once you detect an anomaly, you can put a quick fix and make the impact minimized to the network. Operational efficiency. So operational efficiency is very popular topic among many of the telecommunication companies these days, because with the increasing cost structure of the companies, people are trying to, the senior managements are struggling to manage the jobs of the company people, right? So instead, they are trying to bring in ways of improving this operational efficiency. So AI can help with this. So AI-driven troubleshooting for network, the same use case we discussed. AI for inventory management and demand forecasting. Again, for example, say that we have a partner who is selling telecommunication products, and when you see that if you can predict the demand in the particular retailers or the partners area, then you can say to the partner, you can communicate, make sure that your stocks are sufficient. You are having this amount of demand in this area. So before you get out of stock, reload or reload your stocks, right? So that sort of use case. Then the energy management, again related to network, but these use cases are like mainly we are using these type of use cases in the remote areas. So we deploy sites all over the country, and even in the remote areas where the commercial power supply is not available. So in that case, you need to use generators, which consumes fuel, right? So there are some sites you don't need to keep these sites on for all 24 hours. Instead, you can, turn on the sites when it required, and turn off the site when it's not required. So this can be these things can be predicted when how many hours that this particular site should be turned off based on the previous patterns. Then you can remotely on and off energy management. Then the fiber route optimization. So fiber cables are something which is very, expensive. So you can't just put fiber all over the place. You need to find optimized routes, optimum ways. So that's another high use case that we can adopt. And these two images now, the first one, NDB talking calendar. Maybe you might have heard of this. So NDB has released this first AI-based calendar for year 2024. And the right-hand side, you can see our in Dialogs, our internal desk calendar. So this is the desk calendar actually we printed for this year 2024. The images that you can see in this calendar is not real. This is all done by ChatGPT, the DALI. Right? These people are not real. So these don't never exist. These kids never existed. And then this lady and the gentleman, they are not real life people. But these were generated by AI. Let's see, imagine the game-changing technology that impacting these sort of things, right? So usually we take like 1 or 2 months to finalize these calendars. We have to invite for the guest artists, and then you have to take the photo shoots, and then we design it, edit it, make it colorful, and then we print it. So all this effort is now, it's like 2 weeks. You just generate some messages for the images from Gen AI, putting into the structure, doing some final touch-ups, and then print. That's it. So that sort of operational efficiency is now coming up with generative AI. So that is why generative AI is becoming a game-changing technology, especially in this, particularly in this telecommunication industry. So as we talk about the operational efficiency, I think it's a correct time to talk about generative AI also. So I'm assuming that we are having a very new audience for this generative AI subject. Let me walk you through some general information about the generative AI. So generative AI is a type of AI which creates new content based on the given training data. So usually how we train a model is you are giving set of data, and you're training for something. You're training a model to predict something or to segment the customers. We call it supervised learning or unsupervised learning. Now with the generative AI, it is a new concept based on the content which was given. It is creating new content. So that is the difference between Gen AI versus the traditional AI stuff. And again, the generative AI is a subset of machine learning, and that enables computers to create new content. So if you have heard these buzzwords like GPT-3, GPT-4, so these are large language models developed by OpenAI. And again, there are another one called Llama, LLAMA, so which is designed by Facebook. Then Claude 3, which is designed by another large language model designed by Anthropic. So in the right hand side, if you can see, so these are the applications we can develop on top of this general large language models. So we have a pre-trained large language model. So this large language model is trained based on the internet data, mainly on the internet data, which is pre-trained one. And then what you need to do is you need to give your content and fine tune. So one key application is DALI, the first application, which is creating new images. And this is what we use for our calendar. And then they have data analysis, hot mods, creative writing coach, coloring book hero. So many other applications they have developed on top of these large language models. So it is really interesting to see how generative AI is adapted to global uh, people in the world, right? So this diagram shows time to reach 100 million users across various applications. So if you can see the Google Translate, it was 78 days or 78 months, right? Months to get 100 million. So 78 months, they were waiting for 78 months to reach 100 million users. So even a useful app like Uber, again 70 months for 100 million. See, a very popular app is TikTok and Instagram. So again, Instagram 30 months, TikTok 9 months. See what has happened to ChatGPT. Within 2 months, it has reached 100 million users. So this is why we call generative AI is a game changer. It is making people's life easier, the companies efficiency improvements, even at the revenue level or the cost level. It is supporting companies. So within 2 months, 100 million users were reached. And when we talk about the adoption of this GenAI in the telecommunication industry, so you can see there are various industries like marketing, customer service, network, IT. So we can use this generative AI across all these areas. But see the 92% of the chatbot. So that is why I said chatbots are really important or very highlighted area where almost every telecommunication operator is focusing as at the moment. They are targeting to improve their traditional chatbot using natural language and the large language models. Right, so this is one of the key use cases in the country. Then again, with the generative AI, the workforce empowerment or replacement, it can be replaced also. I will tell you why. There are some, as I said, there are many use cases that we can do with the generative AI, while chatbot being the prominent one. The talent acquisition teams, like you can shortlist CVs. So we built one of these applications last year. So it was very easy now for our interns. We had this intern program and we received like 125 CVs for our internship program. So we needed to shortlist these CVs where the skill sets and their qualifications are matching for the internship criteria. So we simply use Azure's some APIs and we build this model. And it was really easy for us to shortlist people. And it really worked well. And, we still keep improving these models to work in certain cases as well. And the email summarizing, you can see some lengthy emails containing a lot of details about any project or anything. You can simply summarize these things. Document summarizing. You have a lot of internal documents, maybe policy, maybe law related ones, or even workforce manuals, equipment manuals. So all these lengthy documents you can simply summarize. You can fine tune your models using these documents, and then you can just ask some questions whenever you need. Then the article writing. Again, article writing has been very easy. To tell you all, this presentation, the images, most of the images in this presentation was generated by generative AI. Even the background that you can see now, it is generated by Dialog. Right? So it's very easy for me because otherwise, when I'm doing a presentation, I had to go through internet and find suitable, images, pictures, and then tailor it to the requirements. So a lot of effort I have to put into that area, but I just typed the prompt saying I need to do this. It came up with some suggestions. Right? And then marketing content creation. Similar as our calendars, which I showed previously, you can create marketing content also. So the coding components. So these software developers and even for the machine learning people, you can use coding. So it's very easy. For example, if you want SQL code to join two tables, you just have to type the prompt, you get the code itself. Right? So see how generative AI can affect the work environment. Right? So these four or the first three, so SK Telecom, China Mobile, and AT&T, so they have extensively used these generative AI applications, especially in terms of chatbot areas. So SK Telecom has this coding bot, which is generated for internal staff, and it is called ADOT. And again, similarly, the China Mobile has their own chatbot to optimize internal workforce tasks. And AT&T, there's another chatbot called Ask AT&T. So with this chatbot, you can simply ask questions, work-related questions, and again, you have this prompts have the information coming. So we also have tried out this Dialog GPT. We launched this Dialog GPT last year along with the generative AI hype. This is purely now, this is using for our policy internal work, policy document summarizing, or even internal information summarizing. So this application is in using Dialog with the internal documents. So likewise, there are many global companies that have extensively adapted this generative AI stuff to empower the workforces. So one key thing I need to highlight here is people are thinking that generative AI can replace people. As of now, this statement is somewhat is correct, but not entirely correct. Right? So I read some articles last week. It says the British Telecom's CEO has announced they are targeting to reduce their global workforce by 55,000 by the year of 2030. By 2030, they are reducing their staff by 55,000. So it's a huge number because there are a lot of people who are doing the repetitive tasks, which can be now done by the generative AI or the digital transformations. And finally, final few slides of this. Telecommunication industries, in order to adapt this AI specific knowledge to telecommunication industries, you need some prerequisites, because by tomorrow you can't just plug and play any models and make it work well. The biggest challenge in Sri Lanka, what we have is, our processes are not much digitized, right? Even if you go for a place to get something done, and you see there are a lot of manual processes. So here, I would say the first focus is on the adequate investment in the investment on AI. So AI, you have to invest on the AI resources, AI infrastructure, applications, global applications. So systems like AWS cloud services. Right? So many things that you might need to invest and adapt. The second is, which is another very important area, focus on the digitization. So because since we are not digitized, our processes are not digitized, you can't apply AI. Just because you are applying AI, it is not a end-to-end completed process. So even your model is running isolated in a isolated environment and you are generating a result, then there's a manual process to adapt this model predicted, say, churn prediction. So this predicted base you have to manually address. So you can't work, AI can't work like that. It should be an end-to-end automated process. So every company must focus on digitizing their existing workflows, current workflows, into a digital manner. Third one is the scalability. So when it comes to scalability, now generating AI, even though this OpenAI and all this Facebook, Anthropic and all these companies are prominently working, there's a problem with the scalability. You can't go, there's a limit of, say, tokens that you can use to generate these things. Otherwise, you take time. For example, if you type a prompt, you will get result in 2 minutes, which is, for people, 2 minutes are too much. And so scalability is one of the key problems. So any industry should focus on the scalability of these AI and ML models. Then only they can reach their desired result. Then operate with a proper governance framework. So recently I saw there's a, I think you might have seen this also. I saw this image circulating in the Facebook. There's a tasker who has climbed a tree, right? So in the common sense, people, with lot of people have realized that it's AI generated stuff, but still there are some portion of people who still believe them. So with the AI, so that is the danger. You can easily manipulate things in a way that people can believe it. So there should be a proper governance framework. Every country has to adapt. So I saw recently British Telecom has brought in their own governance, AI governance. So even every company should have their own governance framework. So in Dialog, we have a governance framework which is strictly monitored and governed by a governance council. Then the third one is the growth hacking system. So even if we develop a model, if we don't use this in a way that we generate results, it's not going to work with the AI. We work with AI, right? So you have to growth hack this. You have to make sure that people are adapting these systems, people are using these systems. So we have to actively growth hack these systems where we generate the desired result. And finally, organizational wide AI adoption strategy. So this is something really important because now AI has been growing since, I would say, last 10 years, but still there's a significant portion of portion of employees in any company who doesn't understand these concepts. So some people think AI can make magic. It's not the case. AI is purely based on statistics and mathematics and even the codings. And so this, even if you want AI to be adopted by the other people, there should be an adoption program. Right? So proper training has to be provided, proper knowledge sharing has to be provided, and proper uh, courses that should be provided for them to follow. So a lot of things. And finally, I would like to discuss what will be the future of this industry. Right? So this industry, the telecommunication industry, despite facing a lot of challenges, this industry will, evolve with the latest technology, especially with this AI's involvement. Now the telecommunication companies like SK Telecom, British Telecom, and even the Vodafone. So these companies are now thinking of moving companies from traditional telcos to technological driven companies. They will be offering techno related products for their customers. So that is really the future should be. So if you see these statistics related to SK Telecom, South Korean telecom, the SK Telecom unveils an AI pyramid strategy centered on AI infrastructure. So they have an AI pyramid, a strategy called AI pyramid, which is focusing on the AI infrastructure, AI transformation, and the AI services. Then the proportion of the SK Telecom's AI-related investment is expected to triple. So previously they were investing on 12%. Now that they have been thinking of increasing it because they see that AI is the future. So by 2028, the company is targeting revenues of 25 trillion, uh, driven by primarily by AI. And SK Telecom expect to transfer from telco to techno company through strategic partnerships and alliance. So I think they have partnered with, they have a global alliance which is only focusing on AI stuff. So for that they have a AI hardware provider, then they have a software provider. They have again partnered with another generative AI service provider. I think Anthropic is the partner. So they have built this alliance where that they can move from telco to techno. So I think the time is already up, and that's the presentation that I need to share with you all. So if you have any questions or any comments that you can make, so feel free to take this time. Right. Yeah, anytime you all can ask questions. So uh, I think Devni and the team behind this Women in Data Science chapter is doing a quite amazing work to upskill uh, all the data scientists in the country. So thank you very much, Devni and the team, for inviting me to conduct this session. So I really enjoyed sharing my knowledge with you all. So if there's no, if there